Good evening. I am Rabbi Ahuva Zaks from Congregation Or Amin, and tonight I am speaking on behalf of the Richmond Rabbinic Council and community. The murder of 11 innocent people, our fellow Jews and fellow Americans who were slaughtered in a sanctuary while praying, has left many of us struggling to understand how there could be such evil in this world. At a time when we feel so lost and overwhelmed with grief, Jewish tradition offers us guidance, clarity, and comfort. A famous 12th century rabbi known as Rambam or Maimonides taught that evil is not an entity in and of itself. Rather, evil is an absence of the good, just as darkness is an absence of the light. This week, the family, friends, and community of those who were murdered will feel this painful absence. They will look out into the congregation at Tree of Life in Pittsburgh and not see 11 pillars of the community sitting in their usual seats or greeting old friends and newcomers with the same cheerful smiles. They will not see their mother or father, grandmother or grandfather, sister or brother, aunt or uncle or cousin when they gather together next for Shabbat or Thanksgiving or Hanukkah. There is nothing more painful than this absence. Jewish tradition teaches us to respond to this painful absence with increased presence. Now is the time to show up and simply be there for the mourners and for our community. This tragedy has deeply affected us all. Some of us here tonight are connected by family or friendship to those who were attacked. Others of us feel connected to the victims because we see in them the same devotion of the members of our own houses of worship who come to pray with a community each week. No matter how direct or indirect our personal connections may be, this tragedy has still affected us all, emotionally and spiritually, as Jews and as Americans. Each of us may feel a different combination of sadness, anger, or fear. And while facing so much sadness, anger, and fear, we may be tempted to retreat, to stay home instead of going out to the synagogue or the grocery store or the schools where our sense of security was shattered. But by retreating in fear, we would be creating a larger absence at a time when our presence is needed most. Presence is such an important concept in Judaism. In fact, one of the words we use for God, Shekhinah, literally means the presence of God that inhabits this world. The Talmud teaches that whenever people gather together, their togetherness brings about the Shekhinah, or presence of God. One can pray alone or study Torah alone, but the sense of God's presence is magnified when we pray, study, and gather together. This is true at all times, but even more palpable in a time of pain and darkness. Now is the time for us to fill the darkness and the void with our presence and our light. When we see our world moving away from the good and the holy, it is time for us to take action. Let us join together as Jews and as Americans from all backgrounds to replenish the hope, rekindle the light, and restore the goodness in this world. And let us say, Amen.